Before we start today's video, I wanted to make a short announcement. Yes, I'm going to waste your time with announcements. 2 of them to be specific. The first, at 9:30 PM GMT, I will be hosting a stream on the Cthulhu-Kin and Friends show. It will be another political recap, because Parliament is still in recess. 3 more weeks, everyone, and then we're back to PMQs, yay! Still not monetized on that channel though, and it's been well over a month and a half now. Thank you, YouTube. Second, as my channel on BitChute is nearing 1,000 subscribers, I thought I'd take the opportunity now to shill that, because I want more subscribers. I'm selfish like that. So now that I've gotten that out of the way, I thought today we would take the opportunity to raise awareness for another one of those cases that we should definitely talk about and pass our own unique sentences on. For me, I'm going to say this now. While the man we're going to speak of is 69, I would want him to spend the remaining years of his life in an ISO cube, with no interaction with anyone ever, locked away and kept alive for as long as humanly possible, but at a minimal cost to the taxpayer. While we want our prisoners, certainly ones that commit this particular crime, some do anyway, to die sooner, I would want him to live longer so he can truly reflect on how pathetic he is, and how much trust he has misplaced, and how much he has wasted money, time, and other people's on his education to get to where he was, to then do what he did. This may sound to a number of you like an embellishment. You will understand when I read the article to you, or pieces of it to you. A former pediatrician admitted on Tuesday that he fondled young girls at his daughter's sleepovers, received thousands of images of child pornography, and owned prepubescent sex dolls. I'm going to admit this now. I did not know there were people out there that manufactured those dolls. I still cannot grasp the reasoning why anyone would want to own that, receive child pornography, or unnecessarily touch children at a sleepover. I don't get it. I don't understand why people feel the need to abuse their position or cross that line from being someone who is attracted to children to acting on it. Now, if you have sexual attraction towards children, this raises a question. Should you be allowed to practice medicine if your target clientele are children? So, being a pediatrician. Many are now going to say, but you just said if, and then reference children only. Should a paedophile be allowed to be a GP to somebody that is not a child? Now, obviously, if someone is a paedophile and a pediatrician and a doctor, they should not be allowed to be a doctor. Or should I say specifically pediatrician? This one honestly challenges me. I would say they should not be allowed near children in that instance. Should they be allowed to practice medicine though? Well, that would be decided by, more than likely, the law of the land, and if it isn't there, an ethics committee or the employer themselves. Chances are, employers are not going to hire a paedophile regardless of their qualifications, because they don't want that person to run the risk of crossing the line, and in turn besmirching the reputation of the establishment for which they are an employer of. Now, to get back onto the article, this man has spent many, many years working in medicine. He has pleaded guilty in a federal court to 3 counts of receipt of child pornography, where he admitted he received more than 8,000 images of the sexual abuse and molestation of children, some of which were videos. And of those, some were infants and toddlers. How messed up are you? And how lax are things that you managed to get away with this for so long? Now, the federal sentencing guidelines for this recommend a sentence of over 17 years, which to me seems quite lenient. As I said, I firmly believe this man belongs in prison for life, without the possibility of parole. And I'd want it to be so that he lives longer than those 17 years, because I want him to stew, simmer, suffer, become someone's prison bitch. I'm waiting for somebody now to comment, "Oh my god, Omegon's actually advocating for somebody to get butt-fucked in prison." Yep, I am actually for this one guy. If you now defend him, because he went from being a paedophile to a sex offender. He is a sex offender now. He crossed the line, he admitted to it, he deserves to spend a long time in an ISO cube. Now, difference here. ISO cubes, there are no other people in those cubes with you, so he can't and will not become someone's prison bitch. But as you have prisons, he'll become someone's prison bitch. US District Judge is not however bound by these guidelines. The minimum sentence would be 5 years and the maximum 60. Well, as he is 69, I'm okay with him getting the maximum, because what he has done has breached that trust on a very grand level for a long, long time. Some of those cases have surpassed the statute of limitations, so he can't be charged for them, but it tells you that he has in fact been active for a long time. The judge asked the dickhead, "Do you understand with the guidelines range there is a real possibility you will die in prison?" To which he simply replies, "Very well, Your Honour." Good. Acceptance. This is progress. Since being arrested, he has since surrendered his license. He had for a long time worked at the Finger Lakes Health's Clyde Family Health Centre, who have obviously fired him, and he also worked part-time for the Clyde Savannah Central School District in Wayne County. Now you've got to think here, he'd also helped train physician's assistants in Rochester Institute of Technology's Family Medicine program for nearly 20 years. Well, provided no one remembers they were trained by him, I guess they're not going to suffer, unless he manipulated them. You have to raise these concerns now. Now, to give a scale of just how bad this is, when he was interviewed in January with Federal Homeland Security agents, he admitted to receiving the pornography and said that between 1990, I was 4, and 2000, he removed the clothes of young girls and sexually touched them as they slept over at his house. 1990. That was 28 years ago. How fucked up in the head is this man that he was abusing people then? Homeland Security agents have since interviewed some of those girls, who are now grown, and some recalled awakening to the dickhead's inappropriate acts. Assistant U.S. Attorney Carl Rossi said, "Police do not appear to have been notified then, probably because they didn't remember it clearly, or think much of it then. Somehow he may have managed to fob it off, and make them believe whatever he was doing was some noble act, and then they went back to sleep." And this, to an extent, is somewhat confirmed because they had to have been asked to then remember, as opposed to them remembering, suppressing, or remembering, holding onto it and being guilted into it, if that makes sense. These crimes in particular are the ones that he can't be charged for, because the statute of limitations is in effect then, which is unfortunate. But as we know these happened, we know this guy's been active for a long time. The picture is painted. This man, the one you're all looking at, belongs in prison for the rest of his natural-born life, one I am quite happy to see end in a prison. Oh, and just to give a bit of context here, he used to request the parents that he be granted permission to take photos of the genitals of the young girls, claiming they were done to help him with a self-educational study, to which he has also admitted he used the photos for sexual gratification. A slightly disturbing perception on self-educational. Can I crack one off to this highly inappropriate picture of somebody I've taken, even though they think that I'm allowed to have a picture of that in the first place? You are not. I cannot think of any earthly reason why you should have access, why you should be allowed to take a picture of someone's genitals. And I've racked my brains. I cannot think for a second why you would want that. And the only thing I can think of is that these people genuinely trusted you. They trusted you were doing something in their best interest, or because they were genuinely concerned something was wrong. Little did they know, while you were looking and taking a picture, you were nursing a fucking semi. Now, quite frankly, I'm done with this, because, let's face it, this man has been victimizing children for decades, abusing them for decades. And why? Because he's a sick fuck. There is no help for this man at this age. You can claim, some of you will, that he can be rehabilitated. No, he can't. 28 years? Are you kidding me? You telling me you can reprogram somebody? Good luck with that. By the time you fixed him, he'll probably be a skeleton. Anyway, he will be sentenced on November 20th, and when it happens, I will inform you of the sentence. I'm hoping it is 60 years. But please do feel free to tell me in the comments below what you believe the sentence should be. So I hope everyone has a lovely Thursday, and thank you all for listening.
Oh, goddowns.
In your arse.
Imagine my shock